Hi, Ebenezer second graders. Today I am coming to you to continue our lessons on adjectives. On Monday, we learned that an adjective is a word that describes a person, place, or thing. Last week you talked about nouns with Miss Potter, and the adjectives we are using this week describe those people, places, and things. On Monday, we described a pizza roll because I did not have the pizza that Miss Hodge had for her partition unit. And today, we are going to not describe a thing, but we are going to describe two of Miss Reinhardt's favorite characters from her story that is a read aloud she uses every year, and it fits perfectly with our animal unit. It is a story that many of you have probably heard before called Tops and Bottoms, and it's written by Janet Stevens, and it has a character of a bear and a hare. And those two characters are so interesting that I enjoy reading every year this story, and many of you have probably heard it more than one time. But just like we talk about read alouds, you can study many parts of that read aloud. And today, as we're reading and you're listening to the story, I'm going to give you a job, and you might have to listen to the story in this video more than once to do this job. But here is what I would like for you to do. As you're listening to what happens to the two characters of bear and hare, I want you to think about adjectives you would use to describe those two characters. They are some funny characters, and they do lots of things that can come up with good adjectives to describe bear and hare. So I would like for you to listen to my read aloud of Tops and Bottoms, thinking about those describing words. Tops and Bottoms, written and illustrated, adapted and illustrated by Janet Stevens. Once upon a time, there lived a very lazy bear who had lots of money and lots of land. His father had been a hard worker and a smart business bear, and he had given all of his wealth to his son. But all Bear wanted to do was sleep. Not far down the road lived a hare. Although Hare was clever, he sometimes got into trouble. He had once owned land too, but now he had nothing. He had lost a risky bet with a tortoise and had sold all of his land to Bear to pay his debt. Hare and his family were in very bad shape. The children are so hungry, Father Hare. We must think of something, Mrs. Hare cried one day. So Mrs. Hare, put their heads together and cooked up a plan. The next day, Hare hopped down the road to Bear's house. Bear, of course, was asleep. Hello, Bear, wake up. It's your neighbor Hare, and I have an idea. Bear opened one eye and grunted. We can be business partners, Hare said. All we need is this field right here in front of your house. I'll do the hard work of planting and harvesting, and we can split the profit right down the middle. Yes, sir, we can split the profit right down the middle, Bear. We're in this together. I'll work and you sleep. Huh? Said Bear. So, what will it be, Bear? Asked Hare. The top half or the bottom half? It's up to you, tops or bottoms. Let's see, Bear said with a yawn. I'll take the top half, Hare. Right? Tops. Hare smiled. It's a done deal, Bear. So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. Hare planted, Mrs. Hare watered, and everyone weeded. Bear slept as the crops grew. When it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the tops, and I get the bottoms." Hare and his family dug up the carrots, the radishes, and the beets. Hare plucked off the tops, tossed them into a pile for Bear, and put the bottoms aside for himself. Bear stared at his pile. But Hare, all the best parts are in your half. You chose the tops, Bear, Hare said. Now, Hare, you've tricked me. You plant this field again, and this season I want the bottoms. Hare agreed. It's a done deal, Bear. So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted, watered, and weeded. Bear slept while the crops grew. And when it was time for the harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! You get the bottoms, and I get the tops." Hare and his family gathered the lettuce, the broccoli, and the celery. Hare pulled off the bottoms for Bear and put the tops in his own pile. Bear looked at his pile and scowled. "Hare, you have cheated me again." "But Bear," Hare said, "you wanted the bottoms this time." Bear growled, "You plant this field again. You've tricked me twice. You owe me one season of both the tops and the bottoms." "You're right, poor old Bear," sighed the Hare. "It's only fair that you get the tops and the bottoms this time. It's a done deal, Bear." So Bear went back to sleep, and Hare and his family went to work. They planted, they watered and weeded, and then watered and weeded some more. But Bear slept as the crops grew. And when it was time for harvest, Hare called out, "Wake up, Bear! This time you get the tops and the bottoms." There in front of Bear's house lay a high field of corn. Hare and his family yanked up every corn stalk. Hare tugged off the roots from the bottom and the tassels from the top and put them in a pile for Bear. Then he carefully collected the ears of corn in the middle and placed them in his own pile. Bear rubbed his eyes and watched. "See, Bear, you get the tops and the bottoms. I get the middle. Yes, sir, Bear. It's a done deal." By now, Bear was wide awake. "That's it, Hare," he hollered. "From now on, I'll plant my own crops and take the tops the bottoms, and the middles. Hare and his family scooped up the corn and hopped down the road toward home. Bear never again slept through the season of planting and harvesting. Hare bought back his land with the profit from the crops, and he and Mrs. Hare opened a vegetable stand. And although Hare and Bear learned to live happily as neighbors, they never became business partners again. The end. Now, today, after you hear that story, you might want to listen to it again. But there are some great adjectives that will describe the character of Bear and the character of Hare. And on Friday, when we continue this lesson, we're going to put together some of those adjectives that describe those two characters because they are so very interesting and there are lots of great words to describe them. So have fun making your T-chart. Come up with some really creative adjectives because those characters sure were characters. And we will continue this lesson on Friday. See you soon.